By late afternoon, the barricades cast long shadows over Westbrook Avenue, turning the sealed Mart into a dark silhouette against the fading light. And the crowd that had started as a curious gathering had now swollen into a restless wall of people, their murmurs fusing into a low, constant hum of unease. Curtis Hale appeared again, his stride steady, face unreadable. The navy-jacketed HOA officers moving with him like an extension of his will, each one scanning the perimeter without breaking formation. Inside the Mart, the air had grown heavier. The butcher Felix leaned on his counter, watching the condensation slide down the glass of the meat case, knowing most of it would be inedible by morning. His wife upstairs in the pharmacy attempted calls that never went through, the signal vanishing in mid-ring. At the florist's stall, hands worked mechanically, weaving together leftover stems into makeshift wreaths, the scent of petals mixing with the sharper smell of rot from nearby stalls. A few shop owners gathered near the central atrium, their conversation hushed but urgent, eyes flicking toward the locked exits before quickly looking away. Outside, two reporters jostled for position, speaking into cameras that drank in every twitch of Curtis's jaw and the slow, calculated turns of the officers' heads. A delivery driver shouted from the street about his cargo sitting in a truck for hours. But Curtis only raised a hand in a vague gesture, the matter dismissed without a word. Evening descended like a slow tide, cooling the air but tightening the atmosphere. In the crowd, a chant began, low at first, swelling as more voices joined, till the rhythm of it pressed against the barricades like an unseen force. Curtis did not acknowledge it. Instead, he stepped toward the press table. Reading a prepared statement about structural compliance procedures that satisfied no one. Inside, the fluorescent lights hummed with a faint flicker, and Felix's eyes followed the movement of the janitor pushing a broom along the same stretch of floor for the fourth time, never straying from his slow, measured pace. Upstairs, the pharmacy lights shone harsh against the darkened glass of the outer walls. The quiet, they're broken only by the faint rattle of a loose vent in the ceiling. At the far end of the Mart, near the sealed loading dock, a pair of teenagers loitered just long enough to be noticed by an officer, who drifted into their path without speaking, his presence alone enough to make them drift away. From outside, camera flashes painted the interior in staccato bursts of light, each one briefly revealing the faces inside like fish in an illuminated tank.
Oh.
Curtis's phone buzzed, and after a single glance at the screen, he turned toward the building's rear, gesturing for two officers to follow him inside. Minutes passed, with him gone, the crowd shifting uneasily, until faint metallic noises drifted from that direction. The scrape of something being dragged, muffled voices just out of range. When Curtis returned, his posture was unchanged, but his eyes carried a sharper focus, scanned the northwest barricade as though measuring something in his head, then quietly spoke into his radio. Two officers moved at once toward the corner, their boots thudding softly against the asphalt, the sound swallowed by the restless noise of the crowd. Inside, shop owners began quietly locking their display cases, and the florist's wreath, finished now, hung from a pillar like an unspoken statement of resistance. Felix shut his meat case with a metallic clunk that echoed too loudly in the charged stillness. The janitor had stopped sweeping. Leaning on his broom with eyes fixed on the west side of the building, outside, the last sunlight painted the barricades in deep orange, and the floodlights snapped on in its place, bathing everything in a cold, unwavering glow. For a long moment, no one moved. Not the officers, not the crowd, not even the reporters holding their microphones, as if the air itself had frozen in anticipation of something just beyond the reach of sight. Then, somewhere unseen inside the Mart, there came a single, hollow click, sharp enough to carry through glass. And though no one knew its source, every head seemed to turn at once, the sound settling into the collective memory like a warning.